and welcome to Montgomery County Police Beat. I'm Patrick Lacefield, Director of Montgomery County's Office of Public Information.
And I'm Chief Tom Manger of the Montgomery County Police Department.
Each month, the Chief will visit our studios to discuss some of the current community issues from the perspective of the County Police Force. Chief, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you.
And let's start with June 29th. This was the day that a huge storm hit Montgomery County, 80% of the county without power, 500 traffic signals out, hundreds of roads blocked by trees. Talk a little bit about the impact that had on the police force here in Montgomery County.
Well, it had a huge impact on public safety in general. Both the police fire department were just inundated with calls to our 911 system. And thankfully our 911 system was working.
That's right. There were some problems in Northern Virginia.
There were.
Right.
And there's always problems when we have large events like that, especially weather events where you get a lot of folks calling in and they can tie up the emergency line. So fortunately we didn't have any issues there, but as you mentioned, I mean, the roads closed, power out, and this causes has a great impact on public safety. First and foremost, making sure that we can get help to everybody that needs help, that might have been injured, that folks that have true emergencies. But then, as time went on, you have all the inconveniences associated with power outages, and part of that is traffic intersections. I mean, we've got between 800 and 900 intersections in this county that have traffic signals, and at one point, over half of them were out, and so it was a huge task trying to make sure that we kept traffic moving. And what's funny is that when we got down to about 300 traffic signals that were out, folks said, well, just send 300 cops out there to work traffic. Well, it's not that simple.
It's not as easy as it looks.
It's not. Because you think about some of the intersections where you have 6 lanes of traffic, you have people turning left, people turning right, people going straight.
Coming off ramps,
exactly.
I-270, all the rest.
It takes multiple police officers to work traffic at those intersections, and in some cases it might take 4 or 5 officers to work the traffic. And remember this as well.
And they have to switch off.
They do.
They can't keep doing it for
you need
2,
a
3,
break.
4 hours.
You need to be able to take a break, and especially with the heat the way it was. So we had to prioritize the intersections, and we have already done that long ago, and so we knew the intersections that we needed to staff. But I have to mention that the Maryland State Police and the Maryland Transportation Authority Police came to Montgomery County. They sent about 40 troopers over to help us, and what a huge help that was. We were able to send them out to some of the high priority intersections, put our own folks out. We sent detectives out. I had folks that hadn't been in uniform in years, and we told them, put your uniform on because you're going out to direct traffic. So
crossing guards?
We had crossing guards. We brought crossing guards in and had them assist. And remember, this is all going on, at least the first day, first and second day, while we're staffing the AT&T golf tournament,
right.
And where we had dozens of officers, had planned to be working that event because of 40,000 people show up, to Congressional for that event. So it was a very difficult task, making sure that we kept traffic moving. And while we did not have police officers at every intersection, we did put stop signs up at a lot of intersections. And we also made the decision that if it's one lane this way, one lane that way, we put the word out, treat it as a 4-way stop. And thankfully, we really didn't have many crashes or issues. So people generally heeded the instruction, and traffic moved probably as well as it could have.
Well, it's probably helped by the fact that this outage started on a weekend where the traffic was lighter, and then also went on through July 4th week.
Which is typically
right.
Lighter rush hours, because a lot of folks are off, and with the holiday being right in the middle of the week,
right.
Folks say, oh, well, I'll take off a day or two here.
Right.
So I think that did help out,
right.
Yeah. And each day we had more of the intersections back with power, so it got progressively better each day.
Right. Now, some of the numbers have come out about crime in the county over the past 5 years, and actually they're pretty good. They show that I think crime in general is down about 20% over the last 5 years, and serious crime is down about 25%. Now I know, statistics are statistics, and of course any crime against anybody is something you want to avoid.
Right.
I mean, what do these numbers tell you? I mean, are there national trends on this issue? Are there things that you think the department has done that sort of moved those numbers in our area?
Well, I definitely think there are things that we've done to make sure that we've reduced crime. But I will tell you that crime is down nationally. So I think we're a part of that bigger trend. Unfortunately, crime has started to inch up so far this year, and I'm concerned about us being part of that trend as well. But I think what we've done in the last few years is really deploy our resources better. You find out where the crime is occurring, when it's occurring, the types of crimes that you're trying to target, and you deploy your resources smarter. And I think we've done that in recent years, and it's really had an impact. But the other thing that we've done, and this we had some issues in downtown Silver Spring in the last couple of years, and the county executive made a very conscious decision, and he came to me and said, "What do you need?" And I said, "Well, in this situation, we just need to put more police officers down there. We've got tens of thousands of people showing up to a great place,
Right.
downtown Silver Spring, and it's just overwhelmed our capacity to deal with the crowds, the traffic, and in fact the crime that came along with it." So the county executive authorized us to additional positions. We put them down there, and what an impact it had. Crime just plummeted. So there are some areas of the county, yes, crime's gone down, but there are neighborhoods in this county that still have not seen crime go down as much as we would like to see it go down. And those are the areas that we're going to target this year and in the years to come.
Now, talk a little bit about why is crime down nationally? I mean, what are the trends?
If I could tell you, what causes crime, I could probably,
People have written books and books about that.
They have.
Yeah.
But the fact is that if you look at where crime occurs, it's areas where there's high density population. It's areas where we have a higher degree of poverty. It's areas where education levels are lower.
Right.
I mean, these are the kinds of characteristics you see in areas that
Right.
have high crime. So I think that Montgomery County has taken a very comprehensive approach to trying to deal with issues in the community, as well as community policing strategies to try and address some of these root causes of crime. And in addition, there are some areas and some types of crime issues where you just need to see more cops. Now, that doesn't solve every problem,
Right.
but in some of the areas that we've had, we've increased the number of patrol officers working and increased the number of detectives who are assigned to certain types of crimes, and it's had a real impact. I mean, if you can lock up the bad guys that are committing these crimes, that's going to have an impact. And I think my detectives, the men and women of this police department, are doing a terrific job at detecting who's committing these crimes and putting them in jail.
Now, I know over the last few years, the county budget situation has not been very good, and police have had to take some reductions in resources and numbers of officers. But with this most current budget, the county executive has increased the number of police officers for the coming year as sort of part of a multi-year plan to ramp up the number of officers. What are you going to do with those new resources?
Well, it's exactly as I talked about. We have determined where we still have crime issues that we want to address, and those police officers are going to target those areas. As I told the county executive when I was discussing this 3-year staffing plan with him, I said, I'm not going to come to you and just say, "Oh, give me more police. I'm sure I'll do a better job." What I said to the county exec and what I said to the county council this year was, here's exactly where we're going to deploy these police officers. Here are the crime problems that are occurring in these neighborhoods. Here's what we are going to accomplish with this additional staffing. We did that last year in a very limited way in a couple areas around Silver Spring. Had a great impact. So we're going to do the same thing in areas around the county that are still, in my view, neighborhoods that are experiencing more crime than they should, and so that's where we're going to target these resources. And as you mentioned, this is a 3-year effort. So we're in the first year of a 3-year effort, and I think we're going to see a huge impact in terms of making neighborhoods safer.
Now, I know you like to talk mostly about the department, but I want to talk about you for a second. You're a Montgomery County native, born in Silver Spring, went to Montgomery Blair High School, then the University of Maryland. You were, I understand, going to be a journalist, a la Woodward and Bernstein and Watergate and all the rest. What sent you off on the railing to become a police officer?
Well, I'll correct one thing. I was actually born in Baltimore City, and that's a point of pride.
But you got here as soon as you could.
Yes, that's right. So go Orioles.
Right.
No, but I did grow up in Silver Spring, and it was, in fact, my folks lived there until, for almost, I guess, well over 40 years, and so it's a great place to grow up. Like a lot of 17, 18-year-old kids, when you get out of high school, you think, I want to change the world for the good. I want to right these wrongs, and fight injustice. And I saw what, and that was right around the time that Watergate was occurring, and I thought, journalism is a way that you can really shine a light on injustice and get things fixed and improve things. And it's funny, when I got at the University of Maryland, I started taking different sociology classes and other types of classes, and I sort of changed. Thought, maybe I could be a police officer, and I could sort of right all the wrongs that way. And it was a smart decision on my part, because I've been doing this now for 36 years, and I've loved being a cop every day. It was a great profession for me, and something that I've found very personally and professionally rewarding.
What do you think makes a good cop?
That's a great question. It's funny, I just talked to a new recruit class at our academy this morning, and I talked about Teddy Roosevelt, and he wrote a book, his autobiography, and a whole chapter on when he was commissioner of NYPD.
He was commissioner of police. Yeah.
And in his book, he talks about what makes a good police officer. And what's interesting is, back then it was only men, not women. And he talks about, these men should be strong, they should have courage, and and they should be smart, and he lists all these things. But then he says, but the most important thing is honesty, because if they don't have honesty, then all those other things don't add up to be enough. So what makes a good police officer? First and foremost, somebody who is honest, somebody who has integrity. Secondly, you need someone who has a spirit for public service, that wants to go out and help people. You do need courage, and you need strong character, and you need to be able to face adversity and make the right, have good judgment and maturity. So all those are things that we look for in a police officer, and we've got a lot of good cops here in Montgomery County.
Great. Well, I think we're just about out of time. Chief, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Montgomery County Police Beat. Join us again next month. I'm Patrick Lacefield, your host.
And I'm Chief Tom Manger of the Montgomery County Police Department. Thanks for joining us.